that much. I mean, April's a beautiful woman. And Dre, who just suffered an aneurysm and is also going through an intense divorce battle with his estranged ex still wife. I think he looks pretty decent for his age. He's in his late 50s. He wears his serial killer outfit. And I feel like that's how you know you've arrived at a certain status of being rich, when you just wear the same, you don't switch it up. Like all the rich Negroes, all the rich men wear the same shit all the time. Steve Jobs wore the same shit all the time. Like most of them, Dr. Dre he's been wearing the same black sweater and black jeans and white ones, new pair every time for as long as I've known. Like as long as he's been rich, that's been his look. So, listen, congratulations to everyone involved. Anything else happened that was good this week? Because I certainly do not care about Meek Mill and Tekashi 6ix9ine. I certainly have zero fucks to give about that. So is Chloe Bailey dating Lori Harvey's ex? Do we care? And so this was actually Lori Harvey's ex-fiance, not just ex-boyfriend, but her ex-fiance. I want to say his name is DePay, but race car driver, I believe. Listen, again, small circle. Everybody dates the same people. And it's just like, we have to date inside the circle. We must. What's interesting? Did you guys see this story this week about the personal shopper who allegedly defrauded Kevin Hart out of $1 million? Okay, so I saw this actually on local news in New York City where so Kevin Hart was working with a personal shopper out of Queens. I guess he's from Long Island, but a guy named Dylan Jason Sire from Long Island was indicted and arraigned this week on grand larceny and other charges. Now, this came from the Queens District Attorney's Office, Melinda Katz, who said that between October 2017 and February 2019, Dylan allegedly made more than $1 million in unauthorized purchases using Kevin Hart's credit cards. Now, the defendant thought that he was beyond reach and was living out his uber-rich lifestyle fantasies. But the Queen District Attorney said that her and her team managed to uncover the bogus purchases from those credit card charges being processed by the bank, down to tracking FedEx packages that were going to Sire's home in Long Island. Now, what I found interesting about this, now, if you recall, many years ago, Kim Kardashian's foray into quote unquote styling and quote unquote into the Norwood's life, as well as Ray J's bed, started when she was working as a personal shopper and stylist for Brandy. Yes, do you remember that story? So if you recall, the story ended when Brandy and her mom, who was also her manager at the time, sued Kim Kardashian for making purchases of over $1 million using Brandy's credit card. Now, the details of how that ended were never truly discussed in the public, but I do know that a settlement was reached. But I say all that to say, number one, Brandy caught it. Brandy didn't need no district attorney to do shit. Now, I also say that to say that Kevin Hart, I understand how he would have a personal shopper, but why would Kevin Hart, who lives in LA, have a personal shopper in Long Island? That, first of all, doesn't even make any sense. Am I the only one? All right. Well, I guess I'm the only one. Last but not least this week, you guys, it was announced that Rihanna's partnership with LVMH would be ending. Now, LVMH, who was the backer for Rihanna's clothing line, the Fenty line, they had positioned themselves as a long-term initiative behind the label and their launch in 2019. But the brand did struggle to gain traction, and this is according to the Business of Fashion. In this report, they say the difficult trading environment created by the pandemic less than a year after the launch certainly bears some of the blame, but the brand's brief lifespan also points to a long-standing challenge for luxury group LVMH when it comes to launching new businesses versus acquiring established names. Now, Fenty's launch coincided with a broader push to boost Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy's reputation for innovation, with the brand adopting the buzzy strategies of the fashion moment. Now, even before Fenty's launch, Rihanna had expressed concerns that the label's high prices could alienate her sprawling fan base, and sources close to the project said that LVMH had agreed to price items at a lower markup than for its luxury ready-to-wear brands like Givenchy, but they remained a bit marked higher. Now, I remember when Rihanna dropped her line, and it was the one that had like a lot of orange in it, or even if you recall the season that she did the minty green stuff. Now, to me, the way that a brand seeds their product, and when I say seed, I mean like that is a term that insiders use to basically say that they are gratis, giving as a gift to either people who are famous and noteworthy or people who can acquire more attention to said brand, which is oftentimes weird because these are people who can afford to buy the stuff, but yet and still, these are the people that the brand are giving it to free, so they are seeding them. But in my mind, you can tell who a brand wants to be their prospective customers by whom they seed their product to. Now, if the people that they're seeding their product to seem to be still aspirational for you, people who only wear name brand and people who are far outside of your financial scope, then to me, it goes to show you that they are putting this stuff outside of your reach. They don't want you to have it. They don't want it to be accessible to everyone. See, part of the issue that I think that we often experience as a society is our hyper focus on something like, and listen, when I say hyper focus, I mean that it's very easy for us as a community to focus on racism. But within that structure is the classism that we often face that boils down to the capitalism that we exist in. So you have these teenagers who are walking around with $1,000 hair and, $500 shoes and, Amiri jeans, and they are finding their validation and their worth in labels that hopefully will set them apart and will show their uniqueness and will show their worthiness. But it's not stopping anything that's happening on the news. It's not stopping the famous people from being pulled over. It's not stopping them from facing criminal charges or being susceptible to the same things that the rest of us are. Now, I like great things too, but if we're going to be honest, Rihanna wasn't creating Fenty to be within the reach of common folk. Not when like a pair of jeans or a pair of pants were, $600. You're not. You're not. $15 minimum wage could barely get someone their own place, much less a vehicle. So at that point, you're either choosing to live beyond your means or you tricking. And it ain't tricking. If you got it, do your thing. But I'm not surprised at the demise of the Fenty brand. And yes, LVMH has never launched a successful brand. They've never. They are proprietors of brands that have legacy names. So, no saying as to whether or not, and hold on, let me also say this. A lot of the looks that Rihanna did for Fenty, a lot of them were easily takedowns. And when I say that the ability for them to be duplicated on a mass level, there was nothing super intricate about the designs. There was nothing, they were not avant-garde designs. They were not pret-a-porter. They were just simple, ready to wear, and it wasn't, 25 looks. It was maybe less than 20 looks per season, all with mostly streetwear inspired looks. So to see those takedowns, she left herself susceptible to be able to be easily duplicated by the pretty little things and the Novas and the girls, But at any rate, there has been no reports as to whether or not Rihanna is going to continue to do the work. But yeah, we're waiting to hear how this turns out, and I'm not surprised. Okay, so we're gonna take just a quick little break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna set the table. Why not? And we are back. So, one of the things that I wanted to impart on you was the idea of staying ready so you ain't got to get ready, right? So, for the longest time most of last year, I was in preparation mode for all of the things that are now currently taking place in my life. And same for the year before. The reason why those 2 years stick out for me specifically is because I feel like I was in a place where I was more conscious of the fact that even though I was in the midst of what most would describe as stressful or stormy times, I was also super cognizant that I would get through it. And I needed to still do the work as though, without a doubt, my blessings would happen. In a conversation that I had with someone recently, we discussed them being ready to be married and the preparation that they feel that they are giving to that event. And so the conversation eventually whittled down to them being ready for a relationship. And them feeling like once they get into the actual relationship is when they will be ready, you know, but till then they're going to just do their thing. But like when they find that